Okay, my first attempt at strip tease resulted in my husband laying on the floor at my feet, moaning and writhing. My story tonight is a how-to for you, all of you. Long ago in the before time when I was married, I had a husband, and he looked kind of like me, except with blonde hair and blue eyes and a penis. And one of the things that brought us together in the first place was that we liked to really geek out on things together. We loved to just really get into things together. We fell in love with Joss Whedon and watched all of the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We were so committed, we then went on and watched Angel as well. I fell asleep during part of Angel, I admit it. He's a bigger geek than I am. He is such a big geek that he's a man to this day who owns and uses a pizza cutter in the shape of the Star Trek Enterprise ship. Yeah. So that's us, we're geeking out. We also geeked out on other things. One of the things we geeked out on was like self-defense. We were living in Castro Valley, which you know is very dangerous. There are lots of people there who could harm you at any minute. So we read lots of books about self-defense so we could be prepared in case anything happened in Castro Valley. And we even, I don't know if I should say this, but I learned how to shoot a gun. I can do that. He bought me like a pocket knife, a really cool girly pocket knife. It was like fuchsia, and I wore it on my jeans all of the time, just in case anyone in Castro Valley was following me home. So we geeked out on like self-defense, read all these books about how to stay safe and not get hurt. Yeah, so by the time I was 30, he and I had been married about 3 years, and things were kind of little bit in our relationship, and the two of us together made a choice. We decided that the next thing we would geek out on would be sex. We thought, why not? We've been married 3 years, we live in the Bay Area, it is time to geek out on something more interesting than firearms. And so we did this, and it started very simply. You know, we went to Barnes & Noble and purchased some erotica on a Friday night. We lay in bed reading said erotica. Now I admit that my biggest confession tonight is not anything I'm about to tell you about my sex life, but that I am not a very good speller and thus not a very good sounder-outer when it comes to words, and so I will not forget the time when I horrifically ruined the moment we were laying in bed naked together reading erotica from Barnes & Noble, and I said, he took his firm hand and placed it on the soft, round glob of her ass. Globe. It was the globe. The globe of her ass. Yeah, it ruined the moment. We also paid money to let other people geek out on the upper left quadrant of my clitoris. You know, like with latex gloves, extended massive orgasm. Anyone? Yes? Okay. So yeah, I paid money to let other people like focus really attentively on that spot on my body. And I got sex toys for the first time in my life. Let me just tell you, Hello Kitty, really cute to look at, not so delicious to feel on your body. Just a word of warning. In this period, I also got so like focused and excited about sex toys, I managed to kill a rabbit. You know, the cute little rabbit with the rotating beads, and it was great, so exciting. Oh my God, what is that? What is that smell? Oh my God, smoke from my vagina like a volcano coming, like pouring out. Okay, never mind. So we were experimenting with all these things. I even went so far as to sign up for a pole dancing class at Good Vibrations in Berkeley. I will tell you that I personally have crawled across the floor of the Good Vibrations in Berkeley. I did that. So I did that. The problem with that was I did it with some friends from my husband's work, and one of the guys at work found out and then started mocking us, and unlike now when I'm telling you about like the smoking rabbit in my vagina, I was a little bit more shy at the time, felt humiliated, and so I had this idea that I needed to I still wanted to come into my sexuality, but I wanted to do it at home in the privacy of my own home. And something you should know about me too is that I'm a very frugal person. I'm kind of a do-it-yourselfer if I can find a way to do it myself. And in this period, I was like making my own bread and sewing clothes, and I was doing exercise videos at home alone, and while I was baking bread and sewing clothes and gardening, I was listening to books on tape from the library. So one day I went to the library in Castro Valley, was just checking out some books, and I was in the exercise section, and I found this book that I suddenly realized could answer my problem of wanting to get more in touch with my sexuality at home, alone, cheaply, by myself. I found a book called Strip Workouts for Every Woman by Sheila Kelly. And I went, this is it, this is my answer. This will help me be a more sensual, sexual woman. I will get in touch with my inner goddess. And I checked out the book from the library. Like, it's free to check out books from the library, and unlike a joint checking account, it's private. Like, nobody is accessing your library card. So I checked out this book and I brought it home and I practiced for a week. I was like intensely practicing my strip workouts for every woman. On page 32, I learned how to do hip circles like really low and sensually. On page 88, I learned how to do the S-walk, which is like this drunken sorority sister walk where you knock over signs and stuff. Amazing. On page 121, I thought about pubic coiffing 101 and decided against the Bermuda Triangle because Sheila Kelly told me that you could get lost down there. But maybe not. But anyway, I was into it. I was practicing. I was getting in touch with my erotic creature. I thought of what my stripper name would be. Ruby. I was really focused. I was journaling a lot. And finally, after a week of this intense focus on female sexuality and finding my inner erotic creature, I was ready to show my husband. And I brought him to what was the sexiest room in our house, the exercise room / home office. At noon on a Saturday, and I closed the blinds, so it was just that lovely, like, low quality light in between, like, brightness and darkness where everyone looks kind of pasty and sick, right? And I sat him in a rolly chair that I had slip covered myself. I slip covered it, I did that. I sat him in the rolling chair and kind of wedged him in the corner in case I decided to lap dance him. I didn't want him like rolling across the room. And I turned Portishead on really loud on my computer speakers, so it was extra tinny, with no bass whatsoever. I was like, yeah, now I'm in the mood. And he looked at me and he was like, what the fuck? And I kind of like threw the book out on the desk and I was all, yeah. Strip workouts for every woman. And you. I'm doing this right now. He's like, oh, okay. So Portishead is blaring in a titty sort of way, and I'm like circling my hips and trying to channel goddess chi from years gone by, I'm like imagining myself dancing around a fire with pendulous breasts dangling about. I am so hot, and he's smiling and not leaving the room, both good things, right? And I think about, Page 129 says to do the peekaboo pullover, right? So I kind of fondle the edge of my shirt and I'm circling my hips and I'm pulling the shirt over my head and I remember to peek over in between the shirt. Yeah, I remember that, I see you. And he's still smiling and not leaving and the music's still going, so everything's good. I'm really excited and I feel like this is it. I'm finally like harnessing this energy. My 30s are gonna be amazing. And finally, it's time. I hear the song like getting towards the close. It's time to do what Sheila Kelly describes on page 134. It's time to drop trowel. And I fondle the button of my pants as I'm circling my hips. And I get my pants down, lower, and lower down around my ankles. This is the danger zone, right? We all know this is the problem area. But I managed to get one leg out without doing a major dance. But it's still sexy in my head. And my pants are dangling about one leg, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. And then I have this idea. Sheila Kelly talks about, instead of just moving slowly all the time, sometimes you want to just have like a accentuation, you want to just move suddenly all of a sudden. And I think, I know, I'll turn around. I'll show him my globs, And I'll let him see my black G-string riding up the back of my ass. And all of a sudden I just, in a flurry, kick my jeans out to him and start to walk away so he can check out my globs, right? But before I can take one step, I hear this noise, and it goes something like this. Isn't it amazing? He has never made that noise before. I am totally getting some tonight. This is hot. I finally channeled his erotic creature. This is really, really exciting. And then I hear the noise again. And I turn around and look at him, and he is on the floor sprawled and holding his shin. The pocket knife that had been so neatly tucked in my pants in case of a Castro Valley emergency has flown out in the air. Thankfully not open, but nailed him right in the shin. It's already starting to welt, but I haven't given up yet. I get up really close and I do some hip circles. You know, maybe we can revive this. Maybe this can still work. And he kind of moans and rolls away. And in that moment, two important things occur to me. One, my husband was not a masochist. And two, I am filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude for our previous hobbies, because I am thankful for the sex toys and the erotica. I am clearly not getting any from him tonight. Thank you.